Greetings, everyone. Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. I try to do a few shows a week. I know very few people can accept what I say because most people don't want the truth. So if you're one of those people, you probably won't stick around too long. But if you're interested in any level of any form of truth, try to stick it out. And I'm going to talk about things you probably don't want to hear about, which includes Jesus. And this isn't going to be a religious workshop, even though you might think so. It's not. The word Jesus doesn't mean religion, people, whether you believe that or not. Jesus doesn't mean the word God either. So I'm going to start you off with the truth. It's Good Friday today. What does that mean? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to the world? What does it mean to most people? But before we get into that in any great detail, I want you to think about the word spiritual. The word spiritual. Many people use it. Many people say they are. Many people believe the world's becoming spiritual or will be spiritual. All right. People like to live in a dream. I call it the la-la land of the delusional mind. But as long as you want to believe that, it's your choice. But here's the thing. We're going to get into every aspect of what's really going on from today for the next 3 days. Because to me, I'm aware of all my lifetimes back to Atlantis. And only 2 of them were important. Out of hundreds, only 2 of them were important. And the reason why I say important, you could think a lifetime's important, but did you learn any of the things or what you were supposed to learn when you came to this reality or this world or realm? Now, think about that. All right. So when you ask yourself, are you spiritual? What do you do that makes you spiritual? What are you that makes you spiritual? And why would you even believe that? All right. There's many programs, religions, paths, spiritualism, truths, and things like that give people great ideas. What are these ideas? Well, let's start with the word spiritual. When you hear a person doing a workshop, I'm very spiritual, or this spiritual master teacher, spiritual. You know what's funny? They mention the word angels. That's spiritual. They mention the word souls. That's spiritual. They mention a lot of words that pertain to being outside of the physical body, and that's spiritual. Then they talk about, okay, what is spiritual to me? Oh, I send love around the world unconditionally, and they consider that spiritual. They pray. That makes them spiritual. Pray to who? Pray to what? For what? We're going to get into that because that's where all the lies start. All right. Mankind has accepted teachings from who? Over the past 30,000 years, where did their teachings come from? Where did it start? When did it end? Well, I'm not going to go into Atlantis in detail, but we started there and it ended there because Atlantis was destroyed. Mankind, all right, what we were at that time became a pathetic, sick race of beings. I'm going to go into that. You got to face the truth or you don't even need to be here. If you're afraid to face the truth, I'm sorry. Go hide in the box. Go live in the hole. Do whatever you want, but don't face the truth. Believe the lies man has created day in and day out, lifetime after lifetime, year after year. Now, people think because something's old, I mean like a stone tablet or anything like that, just even documents or written documents on porcelain or skin, that is really important. Why? Because it's old. Old things are better. That means like all old people are better than young people. They're aware, they're smarter. Well, wisdom and knowledge comes in time. You usually don't get both together, and you don't get them easily, and you have to work for it. So, to become spiritual, what would that really mean? What would make anybody on this planet spiritual right now? All right. Why do we live? Why do we go through all these feelings and emotions? All right. Now, the first thing I want you to look at, the word beauty. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What's that mean? Some people look at the world and see it beautiful. Some people look at the world and see it horrible. Some people are able to say, well, that's good and that's bad, that's good and that's bad. But the truth is, the darkness is always here and the light's always here. Which do you choose to deal with, understand, and work with? Well, I choose the light. Do you? How do you know you choose the light? What makes you believe that you're choosing the light over the darkness? By believing in a program? By believing in somebody's words? What makes you think that? Why do you accept that? All right. Everything I'm going to go through is the truth at the highest level that I can give you. Why? Because I went through it. I'm aware of all my lifetimes. I'm aware of death and birth and reincarnation. All those words. I went through them many times. I had 5 death experiences in this lifetime alone. I spent 45 years learning to leave the physical body. I learned to meet with deities, angels, beings, darkness, demons, all of it. It's all real, people. But if you hide in your little box, nothing's real. And beauty is whatever you create and tell yourself that it is. Spiritual is whatever you feel you want to be. Oh, I love people, so I'm a spiritual being. What makes you a loving being? What makes love real? I'm not going to go into that in detail because I'm going to do a workshop on love one day soon. Just love alone. Because that's one of the biggest lies on this planet. It's the biggest lie most speakers use to create their theory, their story, and their own belief. And I'll put it as simple as it can get. If love was important, really important to this planet, people would be able to understand it, accept it, and be within it. And I mean, love is not a temporary thing, people. Get married again and say, oh, I love you now better than I loved her. I love him better than I loved him before. No, it's not like that. Love is not a game. It's not based on money, pleasure. It's only based on truth. Truth of what soul can feel from soul itself. Not what the emotional body of the mind, the 5 senses of the body feel. And I hope you know what they are. They're basically taste, smell, feeling, touch, sight, things like that. But they're only within the mind. Now, the separation of soul. What is soul, people? Do you know the difference between you, yourself, your body, and soul? What's the difference? They're not the same. They don't think the same. They don't act the same. They don't work together. The mind controls the body. So soul has to be the victim of the mind most of the time. So it gets its freedom once in a while. And that's the only time you really can learn anything, especially how to leave the body. So when your soul, which you always are, what are you aware of? You're aware of a lot of things that mind can't be aware of. And I learned that through death experiences and traveling out of the body. When you're out of the body, see all these things? They're not solid. Every time you take a higher step, and it's not because you did some meditation and people said you're a higher being now, you attained 6th dimension. It's because you worked and learned the difference. You increased your vibration. All right. How do you increase your vibration? By becoming more aware of the ultimate truth. What's the ultimate truth? We're going through that. Now, I'm going to relate it all to why today is Friday, the Good Friday, why it's really a really bad day for the world right now, but we call it Good Friday today, because it's 3 days before what happened? Something incredible happened. But man doesn't even accept that. Most men don't. All right. We'll take it a little bit slower because I want you to understand a few things in detail, because today is probably one of the days I feel it's probably the most important, because more people are looking and thinking and feeling and going through that emotional ideas and feelings, because this is the day most of these people believe something really important happened for them. Well, let me tell you this. Man wrote everything that you hear, see, read about. Nothing was written by God. All right, you can believe whatever you want. You can say, well, this man channeled God. This person channeled God. All right. If you believe in the Bible, if you believe in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, those people, do you know anything about Paul? Paul never physically stood next to Jesus. His truth came through visions. I had multiple visions, so are mine any less or more important than his? His are written in a long time ago, so people believe they're important. What did Paul do? What did he teach? John wrote Revelations. So when you talk about truth, where did it come from? Where did your truth come from? Most likely your mom and dad, your friends, and then lastly your teachers. All right. What did you learn by yourself? See, the problem is mankind determines what a child is, when, how old it is, and all that. What it can learn, what it can't learn, what it should learn, what it doesn't. To say a child can't drink until they're 16, 18, or 21. To say a child's not a mature person until he's 18. Or, I mean, they can't have sex until they're a certain age. Who determines that? God? Of course not. Man's ego. What he feels is right. But then again, that's based on the programs they were programmed with. Germany, Russia, China, Japan, they have all different laws to live by. The Muslims have a totally different law that they live by. Christians have their laws. But do any of them follow the truth to the ultimate level of being 100% following that idea? No, they're not. I can downgrade, disprove all the truth that people believe in. Sure, every religion hates me because of that, because they believe it. They can't prove it, but they believe it. All right. Words is called protection. All right. Uh, just for everybody, I'm not going to joke today. There's nothing funny happening today, and there's nothing happening for the next couple days. Period. All right. Uh, this is as real as it gets. You're not going to get anything more important, more honest, and more of the truth than what you're going to get from what I'm going to give you today. All right. It's not about jokes, feelings, and comedy, routine, having fun, being happy, because it's not. We are never, never, never been there after Atlantis was destroyed. Never, people. Women never had that freedom, and they barely have it now. Man only creates darkness. When man tries to create light, it's synthetic. It's not real. So, what is Good Friday about? Jesus supposedly giving his life up to take all the sins of people. Do you believe that? If you're a Christian, you do. Why? You think you're free of all the karma you create? Buddha taught something totally different. He taught about karma, which is critical. The most important thing Buddha did teach was the word karma, not oneness, not uh, invisibility or dreams or any of those words, just that one word. Because Buddha himself attained the what I call the bliss state, BLISS, bliss state, meaning you're in the light and sound. You give up who and what you are. You give up everything to vibrate within a vibration and a light. That means if I take a light, now this is a laser light, all right? See it on my hand? It's burning my hand, just so you know. All right. Just burned my hand. It's dangerous. Playing with light when you don't know what it is extremely dangerous. It can kill, it can destroy. Does it heal? It can. Does it make things better? Sometimes. But what are you trying to make better? What are you trying to heal? What are you trying to do? Karma is created energy that you created. Nobody else. When somebody says, oh, they're going to heal your karma, that's your karma they're going to try to heal. An impossibility, people. There was a few souls on this planet that did it. And I will tell you, you go to a psychic healer and give them money. If they're taking money, they're not real. Oh, well, how are they going to make a living if they don't get paid? People donate to people that get something from somebody. All right. If it's bad, they won't give any money to them. But if it's real, they will. But psychic healers are just that, psychic healers. They heal your mental being able to think. A healer can only heal what you allow them to heal. Meaning you're healing yourself, people. They can only use your own energy to heal you because it's your karma, not theirs. And they really can't. And you just can't go to somebody else to heal your karma. It's impossible. You, as a being, will reincarnate over and over until you pay all your karma off. But sadly, every lifetime, you usually create more. So where's that put you? Reincarnating over and over. All right? If you don't believe in reincarnation, I'm sorry. You've got a long time to go, maybe many more lifetimes before you decide to start looking for the truth. I mentioned the word matrix, which this world is. Oh, that doesn't exist. Well, we are. And you'll stay in that for a long period of time. If you can't find the truth, you can't find a way to cure karma. Understanding what karma is, why it's created, and how it gets dissipated is really critical. So now let's keep going into why Jesus would take somebody's sins. Because you deserve it? Name one person on this planet that deserves all their karma to be taken away. Buddha, Dalai Lama, Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, Oprah Winfrey? Who do you think? All of them? Why? Because they're out there talking about living in the moment, being whoever you were supposed to think you were supposed to be? Churches, religions, God, they'll say God, but they don't talk about God because they don't know God. If you don't know God, you can't pray to it either. And it isn't He. It's not He, it's not a man, and it's not a person that looks like us. Period. When somebody wrote the Bible, it was written by a man, not God. God doesn't talk in our stupid language. All right? God created us, yes, but we were all created different. All of us. We're not the same. We'll never all be at the same place at the same time, ever. So to think we'll all become one is ridiculous. To think we are all one is ridiculous. Why would you want to be one with all the sickness, disease, and horrible things going on in this reality? All right. I'm going to try not to forget where we are. I'm going to answer a question. We reincarnate with people that we think we know and family and friends. All right. Here's where karma comes into play, people. We create karma in our lives. Picture it like a bank and how much money you got in your savings account. Some people got billions of dollars. Some people have millions of dollars. Some people have $10 in there. All right. But the more you have in there, the less you have to pay back. All right. But when you work on karma and you have it, you're not going to be able to do much until it's paid off. So when you die, your word karma is what soul takes with it, not your your body, your eyes, your mouth, your words, any of that, your five senses, nor your mind, unless you're attached to this world. You will come back just for that reason. But since you have karma, you have no right deciding and determining where you think you can come back to. Sure, there's hundreds of thousands of people. Well, I can come back as this. I can come back. Prove it. How do you think because you have karma, you can come back to your family and be who in your family? Well, if you have your karma paid off, if you're stuck in this reality and want to come back to it, you probably can come back to a child in your grandson or great grandson's family, of your family. All right? Meaning you're born in a relationship with people that you have no awareness about again. So it's totally useless unless you want to play the game over and over again. Sure, and here's the thing, it's changing very slowly. A lot more children are becoming much more aware of their past life because their karma is allowing them to. Not because they're just being born now, because their karma is allowing them to. Put it this way, you're a mass murderer, you don't get to see any of that, none of that happens, and none of it will happen for you. But you've been working a couple lifetimes to deal with your karma, to face reality, to face God, to face the truth. You're working off your karma. All right. When you do, the other words, I mentioned it the other last workshop, but it's things you need to remember. The 5 problems of the mind that keep mind in this reality, stuck in this world, and believe it's important. Now, path that I studied for a while called it lust, greed, anger, vanity, and attachment. 5. You can break them down into every feeling and emotion that we go through. But I break them down into the more realistic words that man has accepted. Drinking, smoking, and drugs. Sex. Cheap thrills, sports, and fake love. That's what keeps man alive, happy, and going. Are they important? Without going into a great story or at any level of love, love can only be experienced once you understand God. Oh, I love my cat. I love my dog. I love the tree. I love the woods. Yes, so? And so what's that mean? Anything? You're going to die tomorrow. Your child. You're dead the next day. What do they love about you? Well, they were nice to me when they were here. Love is not what you're supposed to be thinking about all the time. Now, Buddha said, on the other hand, you should be thinking about death every minute of your life because every minute you're getting closer to it. Well, that's taking away from where you should be focusing on. The truth. What is the truth about God? I'm going to have to add the main one. And what is the truth about Jesus? Well, man will always destroy the truth at any level they can. Why they kill them? Why they kill Gandhi? Why they kill people of any kind of truth? Why did they kill him or try to kill him? It's like saying, oh, he's a beautiful child. Let's cut his head off. Let's do something horrible. Why do men think like that? Why would they sacrifice children? Why would they sacrifice women to God? God said, sacrifice to me? Who wrote that? Where did they read it? Again, man creates a synthetic world that he wants to live in, based on his 5 ideas of what his mind tells him is important. Sports are useless in this world, people. Oh no, it's a useless waste of time. Imagine all the money put to the football players, baseball players, hockey players, all the sports out there, and put it to rebuilding homes for children and centers and purifying our ground, our water, our air, changing our reality that we live in. Sure, we could have better cars. And why did it take so long to make the cars we have now? Because everything's based on who can make the most money as long as they can make the most money. With everybody putting their attention on Musk, Gates, Bosco, Bozo, whatever, what they're doing. Are they God? Are they Jesus? Are they anything important? Are they Moses? People give them the credit to be in that. Now, I'm not going to go into them too much because they are already on the internet every day, almost every other site, every other third, fourth paragraph, anything you read. They're considered like the most important people. Money makes you important in man's synthetic reality. Did Jesus have any money? Ever? Did he own anything? Ever? He had a wife, had a child. But did he own it? No, he didn't. He didn't get to see his child even. His people that said they loved him helped kill him. All right, I'm going to go into details because I can tell you what I experienced when I was there. All right? When I was in Atlantis, I met people that were in Atlantis, and they actually confirmed what I said, and you agree with many of the things. But we're talking about Jesus. There's a few people that say they were with Jesus. They were with Mary Magdalene. Well, Mary Magdalene was the closest friend to me in that time frame. She was a goddess of a temple, people. Nothing less. And so was I. And I'm not saying that out of ego. I was a female. And that's why Mary allowed me over the temple all the time. I was there the last month of Jesus' life. What he taught, what he was teaching his disciples is not in the Bible. Why? Because they were all killed. Not, in Jesus' time, the people around him, how many do you think could write? How many people? Two of all the disciples, Jesus' disciples, were able to write. And I'm not talking about writing books either. They didn't have that many words to write about. And they didn't understand the single word Jesus was talking about. If I talk to you about God right now, all you're going to say, oh, he's up there watching us, protecting us. What do you know about God? Anything? Do you know what Jesus was talking about God about? The only reference in the whole Bible in detail is when Jesus said, in my Father's mansion there's many rooms. Not the bathroom, the kitchen, bedroom, dining room. No, that's not what he was talking about. What was he talking about? You read the Bible? Did you? Did you read the whole Bible? You should. You need to find all the truth and all the lies, and mostly the lies in between everything. All right. So, when I was at Mary Magdalene and Jesus came, anybody that looked at him changed or should have changed. I didn't understand how somebody could not. You ever look at any kind of a light person of light, a being of much more light than most people, with an aura of blue or white light around them? You ever look into their eyes? You'll see different things. You won't see what you see looking in a drunk's eye, a smoker's eye, a football player's eye. You'll see something different. That's the real light. You can't create that light. You can't make it. All right. It comes through awareness. So when you go into this so-called light, which Buddha talked about, it's incredible. And you can stay there forever if that is what you desire. But remember, when you go through the different realms that God talked about, that Jesus talked about, everything changes at each level completely. When you die, meaning let go of this body, you go into the astral plane. If you have any awareness. If you don't, you stay here as a ghost, a spirit, an entity, whatever word you want to call it. And you're lost because you have no awareness of anything. But most people have something, and they're allowed to go to the astral plane for a period of time to get an awareness of it, so that after it reincarnates, it has something even a little more to think about the next time, what it really needs to work for. The astroplane's not a gift. You don't just get given the gift to stay in the astroplane. Very few souls get to stay there when they leave here. Why do you think there's 150,000 people dying daily and 300,000 people coming back daily? Why do you think the population's growing? Not because people like sex more, but the reason why, really. Those souls are coming back because they can't leave. And now that we got aliens reincarnating into humans, we got more people thinking they're aliens. But I don't want to get into that right now. All right. So what is this day really about? It should be about you thinking about who and what you are. Where are you going? Why are you going there? What do you want to attain? What do you want to do? What do you want to leave? What do you want to be? All those little words. I want to be happy. I want to have a family. I want to have a good job. Nothing to do with God. Nothing to do with the astral plane. Nothing to do with soul. All right? What are you learning in school? Nothing to do with any of those things either. So where do you get your wisdom from? You don't. You go to a church. You go to a temple. You go to a workshop with some so-called famous speaker. And you think he's going to give you enlightenment? Another word, what does enlightenment mean? Who gets it? All right. All right. So now think about that. When you start going out in your day, what are you living for? Well, I want to have some fun today. I want to go watch a game. I want to watch the movie. Yeah, you can. That's not going to create karma unless you do something wrong. And people are trying to say there's no right and wrong. There's only the next moment you make. Well, if I spend the rest of my life killing people, does that make karma? No. And if I say 10,000 Hail Marys, would that heal anything I do? You know, in the Bible, it talks about what Jesus said and did. When he met people and they came to him and they said they want to walk a spiritual path, and he said, go out and sin no more. What did that mean, people? Do you have a clue? I don't think Christians have a clue to what that means. Doesn't mean come back next week and I'll forgive you again. If you have the truth, you cannot go against it. And you know what that means? If you know God, you cannot go against it. Period. If you don't know God, you're still learning. You're still creating karma. You're still dealing with this physical reality, which is fine. We all go through it over and over and over because we don't learn anything. I was a priest. I was a rabbi. I was a minister. I never killed anybody in any of my lives. All right? And maybe that's why I'm lucky. Lucky in this lifetime. If I kill somebody in this lifetime, guess what? I screwed everything I worked for off completely. People don't look at that. It's legal. It's good. Really? Dolores Cannon, one of the famous oldest speakers, was on Coast to Coast. And I called in a challenger. She goes, no, if you kill people in other countries, it's okay. It's okay to kill in other countries. What kind of twisted idea is that? When you read the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill. People in your countries are not okay, but in any other country, you can kill them. Is that what it said? I didn't remember reading that anywhere or hearing it anywhere. Where is it saying killing is okay? Anywhere. And by who? And who said it? I'm not going to go into the Muslims, what they believe in. I mean, China, what they believe in. And I'm talking about killing, murder, abuse, and all those words. Is that right? Right by them. Man creates their religion. They don't take a religion and live by it. Moses could not live by his own religion, people. Jesus was the only soul that I know in all my lifetimes that walked a true path to God. He never said he was God. Never. No matter what the Bible says, it only says it in the Bible one place, but he never said that. He never said Moses was right, which is in the Bible as well. Moses said if you sin and you see something bad, pluck your eyes out. You commit a thievery, cut your hands off. He was pathetic. He created 613 laws to make everybody live by, including what you could eat, how you can dress, how you can't be nude, all those things. He was really twisted because he went against all of them. He was the highest, in my reality of all the times, he was probably the highest black magician to ever live on this planet. Black magician just means killing. White magician means not. So that's the only difference between white and black magicians or witches or whatever you want to call it. I went through it, people. I did exorcisms in this lifetime as well. I mean, there's things that people are not ready to accept. Well, that's not real. All right, that's not real. Demons aren't real, but angels are. God loves me. You're programmed by a song. God loves me, this I know. Really? Bible tells you so? Who wrote the Bible? God? I didn't think so. So people, I know people aren't going to stick around in this show too long. Once they hear the word Jesus, once they hear the word truth, it echoes within inside them. Man doesn't want the truth. It can't have fun then in his own twisted, perverted mind. No sports, no cheap sex, no drinking, drugs, no what? How do I escape reality? People do all those to escape reality. Why do you have a drink? Well, want to be you're sociable because you drink. What are you when you don't drink? Unsociable? Is that kind of person you are? Well, I need to loosen up. Loosen what up? Your brain? Put some veil over it so you can do things without thinking about what you do? And I never accepted drinking. I watch women when they get drunk. I watch men when they get drunk. Men get pathetically angry, violent. Women get stupid. Sorry, you do. Women don't know or don't care at that point. And they're not aware of it, really, then they're not. And they forget about reality. Is that good? No, you should always know what you are, where you are, and who and what you are. Meaning a soul that came down to this reality to learn what you are. Not to become the savior of the planet. Jesus didn't come here to save the world. Sorry, people. Look what he did. He gave his life up. He knew he was going to die. He had to die. Oh, well, no, Judas turned him in. No, Judas was the only disciple that was willing to do what Jesus asked him to do. I mean, they all denied Jesus when Jesus was killed, but would any one of them kill Jesus? Of course not. Not at that point. But when it came down to the end, they all agreed to kill Jesus. Why is that? I'm telling you, that was where my decision to come back into this reality again was created. I could not understand the human race. How? Why? What pathetic, sick things go on in human? I'm not saying you don't get caught up in the things. Movies have major crimes going on in it. Favorite show that I watch, all three of them every Thursday night now. And they say this isn't based on a real story, even though they are all real stories. People, you listen to what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, and if you twist what you say, you can say it. Really? Now, freedom of speech, we don't have it. But why can a comedian say things? A comedian could say anything years ago. All the great comedians condemned and persecuted and attacked people at every level. Oh, now you can get hurt, just like the awards when somebody goes up and punches somebody out for saying something. It's a joke, people. All right, if I say, I'm going to kill president, if you mean it, it's not a joke, is it? Well, Batman's going to come out and kill. You could say a lot of things, but is it real? Is it really what you feel? Do you know what you feel? Do you know what you feel is right or wrong? You don't. When you send unconditional love to the world, you're sending it to the children being raped, abused, sold as body parts. What are you selling? Where are you sending that love to? The people starving on the street? What are you sending it to? What's going to happen to them when you send it to them? Nothing. You got the richest people, which Jesus said, I'm going to say this 10 times before the show ends. Jesus said it 3 times in the Bible, and he said it many times to people when he was lecturing, teaching. He said, it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to go into heaven. Why would he say that? Because it's one of the most realist statements there is. Money changes everything. Cyndi Lauper did that song. It changes everything, usually for the worse. There's one person out there, I don't know his name, I can't find him. He's a young person making millions of dollars every week, and he walks around giving hundreds of dollars to people. He donates to any good reason. They think he's going to be the first trillionaire. All right? And he would deserve to be, because he doesn't do anything in the name of money. But he's making it, and he knows how to make it, but he's not holding on to it. He's not putting it in a savings bank or in a bank. Kings, queens, all those kind of people all through history hoarded money. It was about how much money you had and how much land you owned. So when the British and the English and the Spanish came into the United States and slaughtered the native people, and they created the Constitution, which they stole from the native people, was about rich people. So our laws are based on that, people. Do you understand that? Well, we can't change the Constitution because it's lies. You want to live in a lie? Yes, you do. Because Jesus said, you live by the laws you have, and if they're not right, you change them. You don't accept them. We already accepted everything we shouldn't have. The world's being destroyed because we did. So, what do you think Jesus came here for? To take away your sin. For what? Beating somebody up? Oh, I'll take that. This guy punched out his mother. Oh, I'll take that. Oh, I killed my brother. Oh, I'll take that from you. Really? Why? You're a good person because you said, I'm sorry? Saying you're sorry makes it better? I mean, the Marines had the statement right. Kill them all and let God sort it out. Do you have the right to know who you have to kill and who you shouldn't? When I was 17, I lost 20 of my best friends. When I was by 18, I lost a lot of my other friends that went to Vietnam. But guess what? They were killing 14-year-olds and thought it was right. 14-year-old children with guns in their hand because they were forced to go out there with a gun in their hand. You know, I say people in power should fight each other. Let them beat their brains out because they deserve it. Not only innocent people that have to do what they tell them to do. I go into Moses, the same story with Moses. People in power don't relate to God anymore. Moses was the highest black magician. What he did, the things he did, but having many people killed over and over and over. So you think he was forgiven? He wasn't allowed into the promised land, and it doesn't go into great detail because who could write that in the Bible? Who knew anything about it? Jesus talked about Moses. Satan. Jesus didn't talk about Lucifer. People that think Lucifer is powerful and almighty. He's powerful and almighty. He's a light, but he's not God. And he's not telling you to kill or burn or destroy or take or steal, any of those words. Man twist everything to fit their stupid little reality. Meaning, oh, I follow Lucifer. You can what? Love people? Kill them? What can you do now that you say you love Lucifer? Watch the TV series. It's pretty funny, but it's really cool the way they relate to it. But people, are you ready for any truth? Any? Or are you going to live in the lies? Jesus came here. He was born as a child, as a real being, a human being. Not a light being or nothing like that. A little child. Had brothers. Well, his brothers became his disciples even. But how did he learn what he learned? Not from his father. not from his mother. Mary, his mother, didn't have any spiritual awareness. She gave birth to a child. And just think about in those days, I mean, how did they know they were pregnant? How did they know when they got pregnant? How did they know any of that stuff, really? Oh, I'm putting on weight. I guess I must be pregnant. How about during the night when people are sleeping and things like that? There's a show on TV, young women saying they can't be pregnant because they didn't do anything. Really? They're all immaculate producers of children? Immaculate conception children? Really? Look at the truth, people. The truth is always there. Always. Whether you ever decide to look for it, find it, or touch it is a different story. I'm keeping my workshop separate from my UFO stuff and alien stuff. They're a lot different, even though they're similar. But when you talk about aliens, you're not talking about anything spiritual. Nothing. Any of the races, any of the beings are not spiritual. They're not here to save mankind, and they can't teach you any more about God. I promise you that. I put my life on the line for that one. God, take me if I'm lying about anything I'm saying today. Please do. So, people, what do you listen to? What are you following? What is important to you anymore? And people say, well, you don't laugh. And all I hear half of my life, you're not laughing. You're not making, you don't think it's fun. I said, no, what is funny about living here? Having sex 10 times in a day is great and fun? Might be for the day. You're still living on a planet that are doing such horrible things to everybody. Our own government is tearing us apart. Our families tear us apart. No mother or father knows what's right for their child. They know what's right for them, and they make that right for their child. That's called child abuse. When is a child allowed to have sex? When the mother says it's okay? Really? That's this country. Other countries, they're having sex at 12 and having families. Some have 2 husbands. Or 3 wives. It's crazy in other countries compared to what we believe in. Again, it's only a belief. Has nothing to do with the truth. Sex has nothing to do with God. God's not male or female. So you think it cares about how many times you have sex in a day or a week or a month or a year? What do you think about people? Oh, I got children. And what are you going to teach them? Anything? Did you ever think about trying? But guess what? You'd have to learn something yourself. Are you willing to learn anything important? What happens to you when you die? Sure, you can accept the belief and experience things because your mind's programmed to experience it. Ashtar Command, Galactic Confederation. It's a program and it's a thought. You can touch it by reaching a certain vibration. The government was way aware of a lot of things, especially what the HARP system can create within any person on this planet. But are you aware? Do you care? Do you understand that? No. Oh, that's a theory. No, it's not. I'm going to throw this in, people, even though I don't want to. Pull up Alien Interrogation, the whole version. Watch what the government's doing to this. Watch it. Why are they torturing this alien? What do they want him to say? Watch it. Look at what man does and how it thinks and how it functions. What came, what comes, what goes. Why they kill, why they shoot down ships, why they do what they do. Why is Russia destroying and killing children and women every day? Blowing up city. Do you know the difference between a neutron bomb, a hydrogen bomb, proton bomb? You know, you can drop a bomb on a country and kill all the people without destroying the cities? Wouldn't you rather do that than, if you wanted to kill a country, why destroy all the cities too? Because you'd have to rebuild them all again. And they can't do that. Man thinks from what part of his consciousness is being, kind of what part of his brain. Programmed ideas, programmed thoughts. Was it what Jesus was teaching? Of course not. What was Jesus teaching? Why would he spend time teaching Simple words. Protection. How do you teach a person protection? Be good and you're protected. What are you going to teach them more than that if you believe that's true? Well, don't go outside when it's thunder and lightning. Don't go on. I mean, what are you going to tell a person? How are you going to tell a person about protection? Pray to God and you're protected. Really? Isn't like one out of, I mean, every Christian has somebody die, get hurt, and all those things still happen? And you talk about a word protect. Well, I was protected this one time. What about the next time? And the next time? And the next time? And why do you die? You know, Mr. Bosco is trying to create a vaccine to make us live forever. I guess he's afraid to see death. He's afraid where he will go when he leaves this reality, because money's not going with him. These rich people can't take any of it, and that's why they don't want to leave it. So what was Jesus really teaching? You should ask yourself that, and you really need to find the answer. Well, Jesus wasn't real. Well, neither was Batman, neither was the Pope, neither was the Dalai Lama. They were real people. People just didn't understand them, or know what they were trying to prove, or they didn't know what they were trying to prove. You can only teach what you experience, people. It's the average person that didn't experience anything outside of the body, can't explain anything about death or soul. Until you experience it, can you know it? Dreams, fantasies. Well, you know, if you have that and you experience something in that, you know why you had it? Because soul already experienced it. And I proved that to myself 100% in detail. I could tell you a story, but I don't know. I shouldn't do it while if this is not a child. I mean, if I didn't restrict children from listening to this. But it's not what you think. It's not what you believe in. And I challenge you on your truth and tell you it's not the truth. And in the UFO world, more liars are coming out. In the spiritual world, everyone out there, conversation with God. Who has a conversation with God? People say they do. And what's God tell them? Love everybody. Really? Does that help anything on this planet right now? Does it help people change? Here's my theory. You know, they say this world is in balance. Every positive action is a negative action. I'll show you something real simple that proves that it's not what it says it is. I can make any person on this planet hate me. Any one of them. I can't make any one person on this planet love me. Think about it. And if you say, "Oh, I love you," I can make you say the opposite within 1 hour. So the idea that we're in balance and everything's in balance, and no, it's not true. We created the dark side. We're living in the dark side now. We're in a Kali Yuga age. We're not going to make it to the golden age anytime soon. And everybody's not going to make it there, no matter what goes down. Most people have way too much karma. Just because we go into a golden age doesn't mean everybody has to become a person that deserves to be in the golden age, because they won't be there. So the idea of eliminating people, which kind of like the New World Order, Illuminati, and they all have their certain ideas of what's right, what's wrong. Who's right? To join the Knights of Templar, because they followed Mary Magdalene. But sadly, it's about money now for them. And it's about money for almost every path, every part of every path that you follow. How many paths can you join, become part of, raise it to any kind of level within it without spending one penny? You know, we created a synthetic world based on money, not about truth, not about religion, spiritualism. We don't know what those words mean, really, while we use them and say, well, I'm religious or I'm spiritual. But does it mean anything to society? Going to a church on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, does that make you spiritual? You know why the Ten Commandments say pray on Sunday? Because man couldn't pray 7 days a week. They don't even have it in them, and still don't. So to get them to pray one day would be a nice step forward, which they couldn't even do. So, when you think about it, then people say, well, the Ten Commandments are useless, outdated. Oh, really? Honor thy mother and father. Your mother's beating you and torturing you. You should honor them? No. But it also says honor thy children. It's a two-way street. Everything is a two-way street on this planet. What you give out, you get back. No, that's a lie too. Good people usually end up coming in last. Because you think everything you do is good. And it helps. Keep feeding all the homeless people on the planet with whatever penny you have. How far are you going to get? How much are you going to really change? Jesus walked from city to city to city. Do you know what's really amazing? When he walked the streets or traveled on a whatever, mule, donkey, whatever, and when he came, children were there. I know there was a book written about that as well, say the children weren't allowed to go near him. That's a big lie as well. If I'm spiritual, I'm going to let somebody tell me who and what I can do and where I can go and any of that. You'd be a fool, and Jesus was no fool. He met with people, poor, bad, indifferent. See, when you're in direct contact with the light, meaning you're aware being already, you can change a lot of things. You could work out a lot more karma. You could say you could kind of burn it out of your body. But without that awareness, without knowing anything about a God, oh, I got rid of my karma. Oprah Winfrey talking to Eckhart Tolle. Well, I have no karma. Oh, really? She said after that, I have no ego. Really? You know when somebody says something that's usually the opposite of the truth? I never say I'm spiritual. Never. I walk a spiritual path, but I don't say I'm spiritual. Because when I am, I won't be here no more. I attained it, but I'm still here, so I'm still holding on to this reality. Meaning I'm stuck in hell until I leave. Knowing the difference is the most complex thing you could possibly grow through and learn in this lifetime. Accepting where you are and believing it's right is the mind. The mind wants to believe it's what it is. Also says you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know anything, which it doesn't. Planet Earth, we live like animals, people. We create horrible weapons, toys, and things to play with. We don't create anything spiritual. Why is that? Mankind in 40,000 years never created one thing spiritual. Man didn't. I mean, even the Ark of the Covenant, man didn't create that. They made a box to put something in it, but they didn't make what was inside it. The town, I don't know the right word, that stabbed Jesus was fought by country were fighting over that. Do you know that? For real. They fought over that. And for me, I learned something so important over the past couple months that I'm sorry I didn't learn 10 years ago. And that they have a temple in France where they keep Mary Magdalene's skull in a giant temple. All right? When they say, what do you do with a skeleton or a person when they die? You immortalize them, you do what with them? I mean, what they did with her, I didn't know it. I wouldn't have known that. I didn't know that Christians in France believe Mary Magdalene was the most spiritual being to walk the planet, as I do. They believe if they took that skull out and brought it out to people, it would cure and heal dead people. They believe it's the most holy relic on the planet. The shroud was residue. The skull is the DNA of Mary Magdalene. They drew and recreated an image of what she looked like, and I agree it's 100% what she looked like. So, people don't want to believe other people's experiences. That's okay. Because most of them are lies. Most of them are dreams and fantasies. The mind likes to make things up, create things, because it doesn't understand what it's experiencing. Death, a near-death experience, shows you an experience, but the mind has to translate it. Soul knows what's happened, but the mind doesn't. You're out of your body. You're not dealing with a body no more. You're not dealing with a solid reality. How does the mind interpret that? It doesn't. And the only thing it could put in its place is, oh, my father, my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather, oh, Jesus, whatever. Because that's all the mind could fit into that place that it doesn't know. I've been there, done it many times. And that is the difference. I listen to 90%, I should say 90% or more of the people that I hear have very clueless to what they experienced when they had their death experience. I met my grandmother, she told me to come back. I met my mother, she told me to come back. I met Jesus, she told me to come back. Really? They got nothing else to do but sit there and tell you that? Or wait to tell you that? Dying doesn't turn a soul into an angel, doesn't turn you into a super being, and it doesn't give you more awareness. Awareness of the yes of plane, yes, but not aware of anything outside of that, because that's where you will be for a while. Hopefully you take a piece of that back with you when you reincarnate. As you move forward and become more aware, you take a little more back each time until you become fully aware. And the word for that is God realization. Meaning you know there's a God, but you don't become God. Ever. When a person says they're one with God, you might as well say you're one with an ant, one with a potato. That's all you are. You can't do any miracles. You can't do any of the things that God or even Jesus could do. So what makes you think you're better or anything close to being spiritual? Well, I take care of my children. Do you? Do you know what they need? They need enlightenment. And nobody on this planet's teaching it. Well, do this workshop, meditate, and tune into light, and then go on to the Galactic Federation ship or meet whatever, Ashtar Command. Really? Mankind has lost its way, and it gets deeper and deeper into the jungle, or deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. Are you going to follow everybody? Most likely, yes. Are you ready to give up the darkness in your life? Not meaning it's not going to change anything physically, because this is the darkness. This is the realm of hell. Nothing positive's happening here. When Jesus said, why do you look for a person among the dead? You can walk this planet. Tell me when you find somebody super spiritual. I don't say it. I don't know anybody that could talk about God or talk about death or any of those things in any great. Yeah, so what? I reincarnated over 300 times. It gets boring as well. If you're aware or becoming aware. Now, one word, people, and it's being abused by everybody out there. Religious people, spiritual people, and even people in the UFO world. The word ascending, which is what people do when they die, mean they ascend into the astral plane. The other word that they're all using, including big famous UFO people, which I call them on their lies, say they went through ascension. Do you know what ascension means? The closest thing from some people might be the word that David Wilcock tried to teach with Danny Brinkley, who I know personally, called the rainbow body. Check it out. It's Buddhism and what it means. You can't teach it. And if you do, it's not like it's going to happen and you could see it tomorrow. Just to show you how deep that goes, for one religion, when a High Lama dies, they shrink. They're wrapped up and they turn to about 2 foot tall. Seriously! And then they burn them. And when it happens, there's a crystal left, ruby, diamond, whatever. But this beautiful aura comes out of that body and rises into heaven. For a word, rises into the astral plane. But people can see it. All right. So how can you say, "Oh, I went to ascension and I can go through my rainbow body"? Really? All right. Now, ascension was taught a long time ago. Not that you could become it or go through it. You were given the technique for it. I don't know why I'm not getting all my chat room there. Hold on. I'm trying to. I can't see what the quote, the cremation. Well, yeah. But, well, I'm sorry I can't read the last question, but I will answer a few more in a little bit. But where did they go? To the astral plane. All right. To go past the astral plane, there's more awareness needed to be had, which takes some souls many more lifetimes. I say lifetimes, but many more times being on the astral plane. For period of time, not lifetimes. Because you have to learn where you are, what you're doing, what you can do at that place where you are. I'm sure you heard of a couple words that are on the astral plane. The Book of Records and things like that, the Akashic Records and things. Well, that's only for the astral plane. None of that goes beyond that. And what I call little gods, not Jesus, little gods, what are really deities. Hold on. Quick second, let me just sort of get my throat cleared. Little gods are there. And I talked about this at the last workshop. They're the ones that keep people from going through when they shouldn't be going through. It's not what you say you want to do or what you think you want to do or think what you can do, because you don't have it like that. You're not an angel. You're not a deity. You're a soul, which most people are. So when you decide to come back, if your karma is clean enough for you to come back and say, "I want to come into a family," you're not going to take the memory with you, because you don't really need to come back. But the mind that controls that soul, that programmed it into the soul, that it needs to. You're not going to get the same body, and you're not going to get the same mind. If you got the same mind, you would be aware of the same things, but you don't get that. So now when you leave the astral plane, you come back here, then you're starting all over. Your mom's not teaching you anything. So it's up to you right now to make the decision for yourself to change who and what you are. I'm not going to say there's 50 million people out there to go listen to. All right? Because it's not going to happen that way. Let me just let my little guy. Hold on 1 second. Mr. Gizzle, want to leave? Goodbye. Let my little munchkin leave. All right. Now, people, I'm doing this workshop. I'm going to keep going into a couple little different topics a little bit every week. Now, am I going to charge you money? Of course not. Am I able to force you to listen? No, I'm not. Will you listen? Probably not. The mind has a strong will. You know, when they said Jehovah was a very egotistical uh, being, God, well, it was. It is. But it's not God itself. And I'm trying to explain that to people, they won't accept it. But you can meet with it. It's on top of the astral plane. So is Satnam. So is Lucifer. But if you don't believe in them, you're probably not going to want to meet with any of them anyway. And you're not going to grow any further than where you are right now. You have to learn that in God's reality, which is everything, it all has a space, a place, and a rhythm and a vibration. No scientist in 10 billion years could ever figure any of that out. And God is eternal. It was always here. It didn't take an explosion to create it. Big Bang and all those ridiculous programmed ideas of man, because man never wants to face anything that it doesn't know. So it's always got to make up a story to fill in what it doesn't know to what it thinks it knows. Mitsu, the Japanese scientist, oh man, I can hear a lot of noise, came out and said that, he said there had to be some kind of higher force and everything about a year ago. He said intelligence doesn't go 100% the same way forward all the time. It couldn't without an awareness. So 2 years ago, up until a year ago, he said there was some form of a God. Just read last week, I can prove that there's no God. Suddenly now he's the opposite of what he was thinking. And this is a top scientist who's already programmed multiple ways in different belief systems. Sorry about that noise. But what I will say, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be here, stay here for a while or not, but you have the ability to change it all. And you should. Who am I telling you should? Just an innocent bystander saying, look, we all need to change it. Look for the truth. Always, when I say find the truth, it's there. You leave your body, the most important step you're going to take in this reality will open a doorway so you can get out of this trap and start moving into a higher place. Now, I told everybody, we all have angels, and they will work with us. It's not our higher self, all right? If it was already us, we wouldn't need to go through it again. But we didn't learn it. We don't know it. So people, wake up. It's time. The world's crashing down at every level. And I throw this in all the time. UN Agenda 21-30. Read about it. Read where we are, what's happening, and why. Where are we going to go? Listen to Musk. We're going to go into what? AI, and everything's going to be done for us. And then what do they need us for? I mean, if the robots can fix themselves, why would they need us to fix them even? They wouldn't. Since a lot of the stuff is created by synthetic robots and everything else, I mean, not a human, we're in trouble. Everything we do is hurting our planet. Everything. Putting more spaceships in space, burning the ozone in between us and that. People don't talk about that. And now we got a lot more UFOs and stuff interfering with us and changing our reality in a lot of ways. There's just so many things happening. And you're not going to find the truth there. No alien is going to give you the truth. They will give you stories. Pull up Corey Goode. All right. He said the alien showed him the past, present, and future. Well, the past can be changed. The future can be changed. And that's where the human race is playing right now. So, people, with that, let me just see one more thing right here real fast. What is your religion telling you right now? What is your belief telling you? We got 2.5 billion people that believe Jesus took their sins away. Got 2.2 billion people believe Jesus said Muhammad's coming. All right? Is any of that important or true? I'll let you think about it. And so what? What did it mean? Did any race on this planet move to a spiritual place? Live as a spiritual being? Well, we're going through hard times, people. And if you don't hold on and sift the truth out of the lies, you're not going to experience anything greater. And I'll tell you this, every step you get closer to being past the Yester plane, everything gets 100 times greater in every way. You don't deal with any of this stuff anymore. Well, again, if you're attached to it, you're not going to want to leave it. Tell a man he can't have sex no more. They might not be happy. So think about what I told you. Questions, text me on my Skype, Hawksblood11. Email me, hawksblood1, AOL.com. Either way, I answer all my questions, good, bad, or indifferent. I can only deal with the truth. I do not allow liars on my show if I know there are, or I won't bring them on if I know they are. So please, if you have questions, ask them. The only stupid question is the one you don't ask. But again, don't ask stupid questions because you should know that by now. What is important? Should I eat potatoes or popcorn? No, that's not where we're going. Talking about soul, spirit, death, life, rebirth, reincarnation. So people, till Sunday, when the important day happens and what happens then, enjoy your Friday. It's not a good Friday. I wish it was. It could be, but it isn't. Mankind's not going to allow it to be. So with that, people, peace, love, compassion. Till next time, send this link to everybody you know. Whether they listen or not doesn't matter. Just please send it. I'm not trying to get a following. Someone said, well, you want a bigger following. I said, no, I don't do this to get a following. I only do it to put the truth out there while I'm here. How many people do you think actually followed Jesus when he was alive? How many people understood a single word he said? Remember, God was a word that wasn't understood at that time. I mean, it's not understood now. And when you relate to your father, have to relate to your father because that's the closest thing you could perceive as being close and helpful and good to you, is so far from the mainstream of what God is. All right. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. Till next time. Enjoy your day, night, wherever you are. You heard it here. I know you might not like what you heard, but I can only give you the truth. Over and out.